Good afternoon. The subject matter is, should ZANU-PF be held liable or culpable for the Zimbabwe condition? Should the party be held accountable for the same mess? There are many people who believe that the party is the culprit. Do you believe so when you look at the Zimbabwean condition? Do you believe that ZANU-PF should be held liable? Is it the case that the party is the culprit, or that actually it is not? What is your take on this idea that ZANU-PF is a person and should be held liable and accountable? On the question of accountability, do you think it should be the party or the specific members of the party that should be held accountable for the predicament that many people find themselves? Is it a party that causes the problems, or the human beings organized in form of parties that cause the problem? What is your take on that? The party or the individuals? This is the issue that we are looking at. Is it the person or the party? Or the party and the person should be held liable as one? What is your thinking? What is your idea on that? I just saw an article that was published in 2005. It said only Mugabe can save Zimbabwe. Do you know that title? Only Mugabe can save Zimbabwe. Let's read what it says. Never since independence has Zimbabwe become desperately needed President Robert Mugabe as much as it does now. The country, the ruling party, and the opposition are all in chaos, and only he can get the nation out of this hole. Zimbabwe faces an acute leadership crisis that only Mugabe has the capacity to solve, if he so decides. And this is exactly how Mugabe wanted it to be. He has run ZANU-PF and the country in a manner that renders him indispensable. Do you agree? This is in hindsight. Mugabe is not available to defend himself, but this is what people said. Long time, Happy New Year in advance. Thank you, Royal. This is what was written in 2005. Let's just read it together. That Mugabe has run ZANU-PF and the country in a manner that renders him indispensable. Victor Maroa says it's very difficult to separate the party and the people who lead it. The organization takes the character of the members, so we blame both since they are one. Is that so, Victor? What is a party? What is a person? A party is not a natural person. It's a body corporate that is established by men and women to administer their affairs, to be the vehicle for administering their affairs. It doesn't have natural life. You can't kill it. You can create it. And it can die because the people who need it have failed to provide the kind of activities that make it alive. Chauna Makombe is indeed ZANU-PF squarely to blame for all the challenges we're facing. None should be on any party's doorstep except ZANU-PF. Do you agree with Chauna that ZANU-PF, this human construct, is squarely to blame? That the party that has no eyes, no legs, no ears, just a creature, can have a life of its own that has the effect of suppressing a human or the human spirit? Is it possible that this inanimate body can limit the creativity of man and can be likened to a human being who has the power to choose what is right or wrong and act on the choices? Victor says a party is a legal persona like any corporate. Unfortunately, in law, there is no lifting of corporate veil like in business. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What is the veil to be lifted? A party established by monkeys will never be a party of monkeys together. You can't group human beings together and create one superhuman being called a party. A party will always be divisible to the men and women who stand on their feet and think, act, reason, and have logic. So it is the human beings who remain as individuals, even in a bus called a party or a company. A company only exists through the actions, choices of human beings. A party can never be angry. A party can never have legs to move from point A to point B. A party has no appetite, doesn't need to eat anything. So how then do we get it so wrong that people begin to give this creature, this artificial person, properties of real human beings? It's not ZANU-PF's fault we are in this mess. Then we are talking Eustace Kayemba. It is individuals who were and still within ZANU-PF. They're not even within ZANU-PF. They remain individuals alongside their diplomatic counterparts from London. Hashtag arguably. But a party does not have an appetite, does not even have hunger in its vocabulary. It can't feel hungry. It can't feel anything. A party remains an idea. That idea can have life because the people who believe in using that idea to advance their personal interests are alive and well and operating within its name. A country equally is just a platform. It provides people who are self-asserting, who want to get somewhere, with a vehicle that they create to do so. Simbarashi Mnemba, greetings, MM. This is an interesting topic. It would be great to get a constitutional specialist on this matter. Simbarashi, you are the constitutional expert you are waiting for. If you know the party to have a life, independent of its members, please say so that you can come on this broadcast. If you need to be invited, we invite you so that you can add your voice, because we are tired of people blaming the party and lose sight of the members of the party who may create this. If you want to join, you take that link and you join the conversation. But there are far too many people, Simbarashi, who believe that a constitution is meant for experts. They don't believe the constitution really speaks to that person who is the weakest member of society, who needs protection, not experts. Experts can argue their way in a court of law, but a constitution is there as a supreme law for all of us. And when a person blames the party, they must have a reason to do so. And sometimes they don't have a reason to do so. I was just sharing my Twitter feed when somebody says, you were once a member of ZANU-PF, and I told him I've never been a member of ZANU-PF in my life. He continued on this vomit, continue making these utterances as if I am not a person. If I'm a member of something, then that something that I'm a member of should tell you whether I am a member or I'm not a member. But for somebody to hallucinate on his own and create this make-believe world that because I say you're a member, you must have been a member. Regime Mavunga says, yes, it's ZANU-PF and its members who messed up big time. Since 1980, remember they kept Mugabe in power, bootlicking him while they looted everything. Look at what Obed Mpov recently about amending the constitution to make ED a damn god, like they did to Mugabe. In Zimbabwe, we still have many years of suffering under ZANU-PF. ED will also leaves him in tatters. Count 20 years from now, that's when we will start to see changes in our country. Kusvika vanhu vese ava vanotaura zvehondo vapera. That is what our friend Reggie is saying. Then Michael Mutekeza, there are no grounds to which you can successfully sue a party. The only action will be not to vote for its members into parliament. How party members who are elected to sit in offices can be prosecuted if a crime is committed. Then ZANU-PF leaders are the Zimbabwean nightmare because its leaders continue to fail to lead and hold on to power. So again, we are blaming this animal called a party. So nobody ever takes responsibility because by construction, you have already excluded the members from being accountable for their own actions. But yet there is no action without a human being. And this misses a lot of minds who want to believe that the party has got a life of its own and that people are objects of a party, when it is the other way around, that the party is an object to be used by its members. This is what we get. Then President Ryan, war vets and ZANU-PF are holding the country hostage. Who are these people? Who do you mean, Maia? Who in specific terms? Matemadanda, who are you referring to than call people war vets when no vets is a person? ZANU-PF is not a person. It can't hold any country whatsoever hostage because the country itself does not have any need to move to any point B. It is human beings who need to move, who need to climb the opportunity ladder, as if they're the only ones who went to war. Again, you are generalizing. Mutuli Ngure is another rogue leader. Talk about Mutuli Ngure, who has failed. What has he failed? You may say he has failed, but his appointing authority or the president believes that Mutuli is God sent. He is a genius at what he talks about and what he believes in. Here you are saying that he is not what he actually is to his president. We have a terrorist organization masquerading as a political party. Tendai, there is no human construct that can masquerade as anything. It's what it is. If it's a vehicle for members, it will be called Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front. That's the name of it. That's the end of the story. It doesn't have a life outside the individuals who speak and act on its behalf. ZANU-PF doesn't respect the Constitution. ZANU-PF has no relationship with the Constitution. ZANU-PF is its own body. A Constitution speaks to the people of Zimbabwe who need not be members of a specific organization. And good afternoon.
Hi, Mr. Maweri.
How are you?
I am well. Thank you. Compliments of the new year.
Same to you.
Rather, as we are getting into the new year.
Yeah. So we don't see you with the problem.
You don't see me. Okay, fine. Let me try.
Are you John Cena?
No, yeah. I'm not John Cena. Can you see me now?
Yeah, now I can see you.
Okay, perfect. All right.
So, can you maybe introduce yourself? Who is Zimbabwe? Are you based?
All right. Thank you for the oath. Right. I'm just an ordinary citizen of Zimbabwe. Munemba. I'm professionally in IT, or rather, you can call me a software engineer. I am based in Europe. Yes.
Which part of Europe? Europe is a tribe.
Europe is a tribe. I think just for the purpose of this chat, let's put it there. But I'm very happy to tell you exactly where.
You know why I'm asking you?
Yes, Mr. MC.
Because we don't know each other.
No, we don't.
And for us to know each other is for us to introduce each other so that we can then understand where the problem is. Perhaps that the problem is we don't know each other.
I am in the middle of the Irish Sea, if I can put it that way.
Okay. That's fine. And we have Maggie Docas Nyampempenya who says, Mr. M, please, did you say you were never a member of ZANU-PF? I repeat, I was never a member of ZANU-PF. In fact, I should never even answer the question, because the question must be answered by the members of ZANU-PF. Because in the records of ZANU-PF, they must have a record of their members. Like any body corporate. If you start an organization, you have to decide whether people must pay the fees to be members, and if so, whether they are given membership or they belong to a branch or a cell or whatever it is. So the moment you ask somebody who was never a member to deny that they were members, there must be a problem in the mind of the person asking.
Exactly.
Good. Good afternoon, Michael.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
How are you? Yeah. So there are people who want you to answer to an allegation, but they want to have no responsibility of ventilating an allegation without establishing the facts.
Is that not the problem of Zimbabwe?
No, it's a problem universally. That human beings by nature, we are always there to expose what we think we know best. And you know what we know best?
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah, we know we are very superstitious. And that superstition would even explain death in so many ways that you've never heard of.
Very true. Mm.
Why did the car not start when it was supposed to start? Even if the car is tired of being abused, somebody will say, why now, not tomorrow? So that is superstition. So tell us about what provoked you to join. What is the specific question?
Well, I found the topic interesting enough to say, Wamawere, why don't you also get a constitutional expert to let us know on this? Because the question is, ZANU-PF turns out to be a brand just like Wanana, Coca-Cola, and stuff like that. So I think somehow, whatever is going on right now is probably the result of my actions and the actors within at the moment. So, someone who can help us understand the two, to separate the two from each other. That is the creature that ZANU-PF is, and the actors within ZANU-PF. For
okay.
anokwanisa kutibatidzira zvose zviri two kuti ZANU-PF the creature nema-actors ako chinhu one.
Do you know a man that once lived, or is presumed to have once lived, called Jesus?
Yes.
And do you know people who call themselves Christians?
Yes.
What is the difference between Christ and Christians?
If we were to refer to the Bible, Christ refers to the founder of Christianity, if I can put it that way. While in
he never founded anything.
Well, that's the pivotal, or rather, I can say the pivotal point of Christianity. Sorry?
No, otherwise we'll have one Church of Christ.
That's impossible.
No, I'm saying is if he had left a Bible or a constitution, then it means whatever he has left would be the only authentic church.
In this particular case, are we now talking of my church, these establishments that are identified as
there is an institution.
But those are groupings, Mr. Mawere. They are not necessarily they are not Christianity. They don't represent Christianity. These are organizations within Christianity that have decided to identify themselves.
In Africa, anything like that. Because Jesu zvazopinda kuti boy. Jesu akauraya akatobigwa kunze kweJerusalem kuti akatombozikana
he said, if you follow me, and there are two of you, I'll always be there with you.
So that's why I'm saying kuti churches they are just organizations within Christianity that have decided to identify themselves in a particular way. They do not necessarily define Christianity. That's all.
No, I didn't say so. I'm just talking about order and organization.
Okay, yes.
Here you have a group of people who decide to associate in the name of Christ.
But was Jesus
Christ is not there to validate them. He has allowed his name to be used as a franchise.
I don't know about allowing, but I can say his name has been used because he doesn't have a say in this.
If he didn't want to allow you, he would leave a will.
He would have left a will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my comprehension is a little bit limited.
Wanted to go to the political side.
Exactly.
Yeah, that the people can come together concerned about a common future.
Yes.
And they realize government is a powerful instrument
Okay.
of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
I'm hearing. I'm listening.
So they decide, let's organize so that we can get closer to the pay what? To the wallet of the people. So they call themselves Zimbabwe African National Union. So it's Zimbabwe African National Union. Then they incorporate themselves, they write a constitution. Then they have people who subscribe. They create this animal called ZANU. Then later on, it's added Patriotic Front.
All right.
But the members come and go, they die, they live on, and some stay longer. But those members are what you call the members of ZANU-PF. And they must be members for them to be eligible to be elected to offices. Then they go for elections using this brand called ZANU-PF, making promises that if you get us closer to the till, we will give money or resources of the hard-working people to somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah. So they build this structure to serve them as a club of members. So that is the party. It's separate from the guy who is a member who is suffering, who doesn't even know how to get a passport for nothing.
Right.
Some of the members now understand the game of life. That bullshit sells, and when you have idiots, it sells better. So they build these parties in their own self-interest. So this project is not an object for others. Itself has no appetite. Imagine you are the president and you have eaten too much and you need to go to the toilet. How best would you discharge that obligation?
Wake up.
And you need to send somebody.
No.
You need to send the party.
I don't think so.
So you have to show up. Yourself, not ZANU-PF. If there's a contract to build a road and Majuenga is married and appears to be close to the husband, would she get the contract? Because of proximity. So Majuenga will get the contract because she's close to the power. The moment you are thrown out, and imagine you are Professor Moyo and you think you are gifted intellectually, but barbarians have taken over the gate pass. What follows? You end up smelling.
Yeah.
So the party itself is just a vehicle to use. But the people who want to go to point B are the human beings, like a highway.
All right.
A car is just a vehicle to take me there. But if I don't know how to drive, I don't have fuel, the car will remain where it is. It doesn't
But
move.
I'm aware. That's to ask. we are saying Rizzo, it is a body of thing of people that have come up together and formed the constitution to do whatever they want to do, and that's what
Yeah.
Rizzo said. But who's isusu in our own country negative
No,
constitution.
I thought you have learned
I
something.
yes, I
Michael,
did learn
you
something.
are the one talking, not we.
Okay, Zimbabwe has a constitution.
That's right.
And it is Zimbabwe. I've learned something, but I was just going to bring up to Zimbabwe has ZANU-PF to form that that group of body that people come together for the same cause. And so
Mm.
we know that very
Yeah.
well in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe,
I
yeah,
know.
yes, I know. Okay, and I also know that in Zimbabwe you cannot officially register a political party like a company. You can go to the bank with the name
No,
and that
you
being done.
recognize among. It's like a family when you marry.
Yeah. So you cannot say that's kune MDC yakanyorwa pasi kuti MDC party tinokwanisa kuenda kubengi tonovhura bhengi rakanzi ine tsamba yeMDC. You can't do that because Zimbabwe. Then that affects.
No, you
So
can
as now,
open.
yeah.
No, you can open because you have your own constitution.
Yes, but can you?
Yeah, you can open a bank account, no problem.
All right, because I thought you couldn't open because these are not officially recognized companies.
No, if the three of us come together and call ourselves ABC Network, and we sign a constitution, elect one of us to be our president, and give him powers, or Secretary General give him powers to open an account, they'll look at the objects of the organization.
Mr. Mawai, can you do that to Zimbabwe? Kuno, yes, you can do a community.
You can do it
Kuno, we
anyway.
can open it. You can do it a community open company. Kuno, like we are saying, please, and we are if you got a constitution, mono for a community based account. Because Zimbabwe can a political party open up a company and bank account.
Yeah, that's why they were fighting over MDC money. Even the political parties, they receive money. You guys can just continue to talk. No.
Okay, I've learned something there because I thought you could not. There's not even one asset under MDC.
Hello, sorry, speaker. Ndokumbura kumbobate mbomo. Ndandongobvunzawo, I heard you mentioned something about that, but ndandoda kutokwesana kuti kuZimbabwe kune chinhu wani chandoziva chinonzi Political Parties Financing Act. Andichazondegore ripi. If political parties don't need to be constitutionally registered or are not required by the Constitution, how then do we have an act of parliament, finance our political parties? On what basis?
You're very right, Papu. I know, I've been trying to find out this. So I thought from my own research, I thought you could not do that. Because it's very difficult to really
No, let's talk about things that exist. You can open a bank account. You can do many things.
All right, okay. So I stand corrected there. So if there's viewers, because I thought from my own research, I thought I've tried to find out my party.
That's why the ZANU-PF itself can receive money from the government.
Okay. So if they can receive money from the government and they can register on the government parts, we are talking. Can ZANU-PF be sued? So unless if someone.
No, we're saying there are people who are saying government can be blamed for the actions. I mean, the party can be blamed.
Yeah, the party can be blamed. So if it's a registered body, and because it's a registered body, so can it the same way if it's a registered body and recognized in the Constitution with the IRICO internal bank account in assets, then it can actually can they not go and then prove this? Look, we've got a crime against ZANU-PF, pakat.
Yeah, but ZANU-PF is not the government.
No, it's not the government, yes. But
Yeah, when you appointed the president, you take an oath to save the Republic of Zimbabwe.
That I understand. This is why that
And to serve the party that you belong to.
That's why that takes and that is ZANU-PF. The only way we can solve the situation and ZANU-PF MDC is because constitution you know the policies must say do we vote or not vote for them. Which is
even after you vote, the people who represent you in parliament, they are your representatives.
Those can be sued because I think I'm office. If there's a crime, can I member of parliament? Because the either crime which is recognized by our court and is a successful prosecution, anosungwa. And this is the police go about to this go makoti ana chiangwa kumboenda kumakoti. You know, most members member of parliament vanongo vasatombo sungwa vanongo sungwa vachidzoka ka those that's for prosecution apa but vanenge vambosungwa zvako.
Yeah. So that is the so any other question there?
The discussion the registration in my political parties, clear because I thought the point I raised was that political parties don't need to be registered, especially in Zimbabwe. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is for electoral purposes.
Sorry?
For electoral purposes.
Or for electoral purposes, all right.
Yeah.
And then there's something, don't you think there's something wrong there with that? Because tomorrow someone can wake up and start a party because I'm not in my elections. And for reasons unbeknown to citizens, for finance that political party henceforth. Where then do you say accountability? Is it on the individuals or is it on the political party? Because clearly, in the case of one major political party in this country, Zimbabwe,